Tales from the Tapes.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Demo from Next Ev, and welcome to our first episode of Tales from the Tapes. I'm very excited. This has been a while in the making, probably like 6-7-ish months maybe we've been talking about this. And I'm here today with two people that are really huge, if not bigger, horror nerds than I am. This is our horror podcast. I'm here with Anthony. Tell us what you do.
Hi, my name is Anthony. I am with the Gruesome Gazette, also known as the Thriller. I'm one of the ones who does horror reviews for the Gruesome Gazette. Also very big in the music scene, do a lot of stuff there. I'm pretty much everywhere, doing everything.
And we got Mike. Mike, tell us what you do. What's up?
Hello, I'm Mike Cleopatra. I'm the other guy from Gruesome Gazette. It's just the two of us. Yeah, I'm pretty much known as the guy that's like the one that writes all the fucked up articles. So you know, we're pretty good yin and yang, I think.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so we have a quick bio rundown. That's excellent. Intro's very formulaic. This is our initial episode. We're gonna be very, very kind of talky. I'm sure maybe not yell at each other. We're gonna be very talky, opinionated about whatever, and free feeling as we go forward with this. But right now it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is what we do. Geez, how do we dive in? Where to start? We know where we're gonna start, but how does one start a horror podcast? Some people might say, you gotta do a classic movie. Maybe they're doing Dracula. Maybe they're doing Night of the Living Dead. You gotta start with something big that everybody knows. You gotta leave your imprint on the horror scene. No, we picked Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I do want to jump in and just say though, if you do go to like Apple Podcasts and you search for Maximum Overdrive, there's only like a couple of them, and out of those, most of them are just shit talking it. So that's why I thought it'd be fun to come in and not only like defend this for the most part, even though I'm sure we're gonna take jabs at it, of course, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to try to provide like an opposite side. And I don't know. I feel like it's always the obscure titles that always get my attention, at least to find new things. So I don't know. It made sense at the time.
Who hates Maximum Overdrive?
Dude, everybody.
I don't understand, because I know there's quotes who are like, Stephen King, why did you stop directing after Maximum Overdrive? And he always responds with, well, go see Maximum Overdrive. No, like, that's great. That movie is like really well made. It is a great, like, it's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
I just remember like I was so little when I saw this movie because like I was born '92, so like, but my dad was like always watching this shit. And when I was like literally little, like we grew up in the middle of the woods, and so there wasn't even like any television. So all we ever did was rent movies to watch, and then we'd like watch them on repeat. And this was one of them that we would just watch all the time. It was like always this, Creep Show, and Tremors. They were like the top three. And I just remember I had so much fun with it. And I just thought it was so cool. And like this was my idea of like how much violence was supposed to be in a movie. And I just like kind of set the standard in my mind.
It's just the right amount of violence. It's not extremely over the top. It's not like it's not like super fucked up, but it's just like, oh yeah, that's just the right amount for it to be. It's like fun violence. If that sounds horrible, but it's fun violence.
Right. And then there's even some stuff in it that like I know there's some stuff that has traumatized me still to this day in it. So like it has like its random moments in it, and I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah.
And so this movie has a big cast. I haven't seen it in like quite a few years, but there's a lot of people in this movie. How would you introduce the cast? I mean, you got Yardley Smith, who like at the time was like a nobody, who would later be Lisa Simpson in The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
You got oh god, Hingle,
I think it's Hingle.
Hingle, John Short, Laura Harrington. I'm terrible with names, and the star of all stars, the top billing cast, the Green Goblin.
Yes, the Green Goblin truck.
I'm kidding. It's Emilio Estevez, but
I was so confused for a second. I was like, how the fuck are we skipping the Mighty Ducks himself? Like,
Yeah.
but there's like 12 other people that I haven't mentioned. That this cast is so huge in this movie, and I'm just like, but I just thought it'd be a really good joke that I've had in my head all day. I was like, what if we just like snub Emilio Estevez and be like, the top billing went to the Green Goblin truck?
I'm sure he'd probably be okay with that. But for what's worth, I think he definitely needs to be the top bill. I don't know. There's like a reason he's like the face on all the posters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like admire him, cool as shit, dude. Like everything he was in the 90s and 80s, that man was the coolest fucking guy. Like,
Yeah.
like growing up, if I wanted to like be like anybody, I was like, I want to be either Leonardo DiCaprio or Emilio Estevez. Those were the coolest fucking dudes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And I think another great thing about this movie is, of course, Stephen King had a cameo in his own movie. This is one of his best cameos that he's had, and that I've ever seen. That whole scene with the ATM machine, like, this machine just called me an asshole.
It just has such the perfect tone for what you're about to experience.
Right.
he definitely embodies the accent of like his creep show character in a weird way. Like, what if that
Yeah.
character survived, got civilized, and married?
Right.
Like if he turned in that meteor and got rich, he'd be the guy that went to the ATM big, honey, this machine called me an asshole.
I'm going to now always imagine that that's the alternate universe version, and I am very happy about that.
Yeah, it's like the meteor crashed in Creepshow Stephen King's yard. Instead of all the horrific shit that happened in that scene, instead it went very normal. He turned it in, he got rich, he married, and then Maximum Overdrive happened.
This guy just has like the worst luck on Earth.
Yeah.
It's like if it's not extraterrestrial, like herbology trying to kill him, it's, radiation that makes technology fight him. Like, this dude's not safe from nature. He's not safe from technology. This dude is just like born to die. He's got, that old Varel luck, all right.
Yeah.
So speaking of radiation making technology come to life, what's the synopsis of this movie?
One of you guys want to take it, or you want me to?
So as most people may know or may not know, this was based on a short story that Stephen King wrote. It was in his Night Shift collection, which is one of his best short story collections of all time. Like, that was his best writings that he's had in his career. But the story it was based on was called Trucks. So basically what happens is there's this comet that goes across the Earth. The radiation from the comet makes all these machines come to life. And it starts affecting trucks, and trucks start to come to life. And then, so our characters are stuck in this diner at the time that the trucks start, coming to life, and they're fighting this battle against man versus machine. That's my best way of summing it up.
Nah, well done.
Is the Yeah, that's majority of it. Yeah, there's some weird shit, like some weird inconsistencies with this fucking movie and that plot.
Yeah.
But that's the majority of the movie is, yeah, you're stuck at this truck station. Trucks are circling it, convoy. And and it's they're just like, feed us gas with like Morse code honking their horns, and like one of these fucking like redneck dudes are like, I know Morse code, and he's honking. The trucks need gas. They're running low. They're holding us hostage, and it's such a fucking great wacky movie with blood.
Like if you really want to like just explain this movie badly to someone, it's like a meteor passes by. We go into the gas of its, old presence. All the technology comes to life, and all it wants to do is either eat human flesh, drink its blood, or just consume gas and just drive around in circles, just honking their horns. And then it ends in probably the ending, but I'm literally talking about like the last 15 seconds where it's just text over the screen.
It's the inconsistency bit. That's what I'm
it's just
talking
so
about.
funny.
You know what I'm.
It just stops.
The
Like, the movie
satellite
just stops.
crashed into the aliens, and then fucking the survivors were survivors. First of all, there was no mention of aliens up until the last 15 seconds in that text bubble. So was it the comet or was it the aliens?
It like suggests that like the aliens were responsible for it. But like, it's just, I don't know, like you watch this movie and it starts to end and you're like, all right, it's ending, it's kind of sweet, whatever. And then just this text pops up and you're just like, well, what the fuck was the point of this?
Right.
It's just fantastic. I love it. Because, this was, notoriously his coked out movie. And it's like, that's pretty reminiscent of the coke trip. Is like, it's so intense. It's all over the place. And then you don't really know how to like finish everything. So to avoid the come down, you're just like, and it was over. See you later.
And it was aliens. Oh.
Surprise.
Yeah, there's like the Russian satellite crashed into the alien ship. The comet passed by as normal, and that shit, like one of the last lines, paraphrasing, literally says, and the survivors survived.
Yeah,
no shit.
Yeah, it's like the survivors are still survivors. Like,
and it's like to this day.
Yeah. Like, okay, clearly.
I just love it.
Like, how much of like a curveball would it have been? Like a ballsy curveball if the movie would have been like, and the survivors got 13 miles out to sea and the alien ship crashed on them. They died on impact.
That would have been wild.
I mean, that should have happened. We should have had like the one big bombastic final like showdown.
Yeah.
Because instead we just get, adios, motherfucker. That's all we get. And then there's some like roaring. There's some explosions that don't happen. I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll cover everything.
Oh my god. Like, that is the most like synopsis movie. Like, if you're trying to dumb it down to like its purest like formula, you just go, we just talked about the entire movie in like 10 minutes.
Trucks go vroom, people fall down. The end.
And the survivors for survivors.
Yeah.
So Amelia Estevez plays Bill Robinson, who is a thief and apparently gets caught. I'm gonna say apparently, he did get caught and is now on probation working at this truck stop for a sleaze called Hendershot, who apparently, by looking at everybody's cards on the wall, likes to take in all these people on parole and pretty much abuse them.
Mm-hmm.
So Hendershot's kind of just like a con man himself who likes to enslave other con men to do his bidding in a weird way. And if the con men do not listen to him, he threatens them with calling all of their parole officers and being like, I will put you back in jail. And this all takes place in North Carolina in the middle of nowhere.
Just at a nice little truck stop, just, off the highway.
Right. So that's Bill Emilio Estevez as our hero, which is why he somehow, I don't know why, got top billing over the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, there's out of all these trucks, because clearly we've talked about the trucks, there's a toy manufacturer truck that comes in, and on this toy truck that delivers toys, I'd make it sound like it's an actual toy truck. It's a truck that delivers toys, and on the grill of this truck, on the front end, is a giant fucking Green Goblin Spider-Man head on the front of this truck.
Yes.
Now, I just got to say quick, I did not grow up reading comics or anything like that. So I had no idea that the Green Goblin was a thing. So when I was growing up and I saw like his face like on merchandise and stuff, I was immediately just like, why is there a Maximum Overdrive shirt at fucking Walmart? And then it took me until well into my teenage years to realize like, oh, this was like a character that they just like used. So it was, my whole brain was just like, I thought this guy was just the coolest creation. It was such a cool design. The colors work with the black and the green face. You know, it's happy-go-lucky toys. It says like on the side of it, like, here comes another bundle of joy. And then I was just like, this thing is so cool. Just to find out that, yeah, it's a fucking Spider-Man villain.
I like, in the back of my mind, I really just like to think that no, we are all correct, and it is Maximum Overdrive merch. And that movie is really good, and everybody else is wrong.
So the only thing I want to say about the truck before we get away from the toy truck, there's the one scene where, you know, it just like flies in front of the place, and this is before everybody knows what's really going on. So Emilio Estevez goes to investigate because they think somebody hotwired it and was trying to steal it. So he crawls into the cab, he opens up in the middle part, and then there's like a curtain. And as soon as he pulls it back, a like literal like Jack in the Box of the Green Goblin shoots up and just like scares him. But there's nothing mechanical, like technologically, about a Jack in the Box. So like, why the fuck does it go off?
Unless that thing was battery operated and Duracell is possessed, I have no idea.
Are there battery operated Jack in the Boxes?
I'm assuming in today's age, yeah, but back in 86?
I think it was 86 or 87.
It was 86, but the movie itself takes place in 87.
It takes place in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a warning for humanity.
Yeah. The title card at the beginning says, on this day in 1987, but the movie did come out in 86.
So this was probably filmed like 85, so this is supposed to be like 2 years in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
goodness.
coked out prophetic prophet Stephen King. The true Mayan of our time.
Also, speaking of the truck, I think it was the coolest thing, like where there's this scene where it's like the face comes alive, like the eyes are growing red.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was like the coolest thing.
Dude, it used to give me chills. I loved it. When it's just like revving its engine and the eyes go red, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
There's also I don't know if it's because it's like a discount DVD cover, because there's so many like covers of this movie. The lamest cover of this movie I want to point out is the fact that what's the movie with the you guys would know this real quick. Paul Walker, killer truck driver. Joyride.
Yeah.
The Maximum, there's a box art cover. I don't have to post it in chat, of Maximum Overdrive, where the box cover looks awful, and it looks like it's fucking that Paul Walker movie. And I posted it in the Facebook chat, so if you see a ding thing and it pops up, it looks just so generic and awful.
Oh
Why
my
would you
God.
not? Why would you not put Emilio Estevez or the Green Goblin truck on that cover.
Right.
Well, like, because there's also another version of this exact one, because this was the DVD I had growing up, but there's another version where it was literally the same shot, but there was like a mangled body in the grill of the truck.
Yes, that is. There's a Photoshop version of that cover, which I also have. It is. There's an artwork version of it. I got the screenshot right here. And this one's a lot better because it's like animated and it's really cool looking.
Well, because it has a 80s flair that happened with all of the posters and like trailers and stuff where like, you know, it looks metal. I mean, like, I know it's literally a metal truck, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's got like that Dio, like hair metal vibe going on to it.
Yeah, it's got glam written all over it. It's beautiful.
So I just posted that in the Facebook chat. So there's that cover. I'll have to throw it up while we're video editing so people can see what it looks like. So people watching on YouTube during the visualization, while we're talking about this, look at the screen, see these covers. The first one's awful. The second one is much better, but there's a collector's series DVD. And it is one of the best ones out there.
Oh, dude, I love this one.
Oh yeah.
I've got this on a T-shirt. Shout out to Gutter Garbs. Yeah, no, this one was fucking sick, dude. Like, I love that art so much.
The Green Goblin truck with the hand in the rubble, holding the keys. The guy getting run over. Like, I'm assuming
just blown up. His eyes are glowing red.
I'm assuming the guy is Emilio Estevez in art form, but I'm just going to assume it's him.
Actually, I'm going to assume that it's the dude that has the son that gets like blinded by the gasoline. I'm going to assume that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just me being a nerd. So, you know, you can believe what you want. I support your opinion.
I just like to think the perfect cover has everything that I want in it. And if it
there's the
doesn't
one
have
dude being run over too. He's just like half under the truck and he's like crawling on the right side, just like screaming in pain.
Oh, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. It was Emilio Estevez. Yeah.
I was looking at the hand. Okay.
Oh yeah, the hand. I was like, God knows who that is.
And then it's got like the rolls of toilet paper and stuff. Like, yeah, no, this has everything. It even has 108 for your gas price, so it's like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously though, that Blu-ray has it's a beautiful restoration. It was desperately needed. Vestron put it out, and they're a Lionsgate company. They've been doing a lot of these really good, like, classy, well, not classy at all, but more like trashy, but like the nice classic, like, good horror movies that have come out throughout like the 80s and early 90s. And I don't know, when I saw that this got released, this was one of the first things I pre-ordered when I started really getting into collecting.
This is probably one of the quintessential good bad movies of horror. Like
1,000%.
It's like, how would you not like it? Like, I could see the only people I feel like would not like this are the picky horror fans. They're like, it's not scary. It's this and that. Like, if you're gatekeeping horror, I could see you not liking it, which, like, fandoms have a lot of gatekeepers. We are definitely not the gatekeepers. Was one of the reasons why we started this podcast is we're like, you don't have to, but we suggest that you watch terrible stuff, but like good terrible.
Yes.
Like, we got arranged between, we got serious. We're working slowly on a color meter of, you know, what we would rate a horror movie is, because down the line, Mike has, I think, the darkest selection out of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to let you guys vote for most of them, so there's only a couple I'm going to be like, yeah, you have no choice. You're going to fucking do this week, and you're going to like it. But for the most part, I'll at least give you a chance, so you can, like, choose your poison. But, yeah, we're going to go to some places. But that's why this week we're, you know, going to have just some nice, easy fun.
Yeah. So I'm just like, we're working on a color scale to where we're like, okay, this is digestible for family. Like, if we want to get real dumb, maybe next year during October, fucking Disney's Hocus Pocus, because why not? Like,
I'll have number 3 by then, so I mean that would be perfect.
so it'd be like, oh, here's some like Halloween Town Disney schlock. It'd be like, this is goofy fun, this is family fun. But then you were like, at some points, and I'm gonna in the video drop a warning. We're gonna get into what we're gonna call the black scale, the worst of the worst, which is going to be definitely don't let your kids see any of this. This will be scar you for life shit.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of movies. Like, for instance, I don't know if I'd label it black, but it has a scene that I'd label black, in which you mentioned the other day, Mike, a Serbian film.
Oh yeah, I mean, just talking about that pisses people off. Like when I did the review of that for our website, I think it was like the most popular one we did, like back at that time.
I've seen
and it was
so
just
many
hate.
comments.
It was so fucking fun.
The comments on it, because I went through the comments of your posts on Facebook, and people were,
Yeah.
the heat. It was so real. But yeah, we'll be covering from family friendly all the way to the viewer discretion is advised, is literally not a joke here. Literally, like, watch at your own risk stuff.
Yeah, I'll do my due diligence and make sure that there's like accurate trigger warnings, because I know that there is some content stuff where like people don't mind, you know, like violence or whatever, but there are some things that I know like if people are not prepared for, like just saying like irreversible. If you are triggered by, you know, sexual assault and things like that, like 100% you need to warn people, or else that movie will fucking ruin someone's life. You know, so you know, we're trying to be responsible, but we're also just trying to have fun and celebrate things, even the things that we don't like, you know.
Yes.
Life's too short to like hate everything, so we're gonna try and have fun with this.
Yeah. Even the movies that are like, I hated that movie, it triggered me, there were things they did with things that I don't like, and with done to certain people, especially kids that I don't like, and stuff like that. I'll be like, I hated that. I absolutely hated that. But it's art, and I will respect it.
Absolutely. I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, like, there's so much that goes into all this, like, between the writing, the directing, like, even that stuff aside, like, dude, like, this movie has so many moving parts, so many people, locations, obviously the technical aspect. We haven't even touched on the fact that the entire soundtrack is custom fit for it.
Oh, yeah, because I was about to bring that up once we got past, that was my next subject matter, once we got past the this is what we're about thing. Yeah, the entire soundtrack of Maximum Overdrive was made by AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So all you get is like dope guitar riffs and like dan, 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 like occasionally you get some like
it's just like who made who.
Yeah, I want to say like that was like the song they specifically made for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the rest of it's like ambient guitar and drums. There's rarely vocals, and sometimes you'll get backing vocals, but yeah, there is a song that they specifically made for the movie.
Yeah, because it's like anything that has vocals is usually during like a montage part. But the two things I love the most about the soundtrack is like, there's the one that I just call it like the Doom theme, where basically it's just like when the boy's riding the bike through the town and he's just looking at all of the fucking damage, and it's just like bam, bam, bam. Like it's just really like mellow but like upbeat. But then there's also what I like the terror chords, where it's just, you know, the like high pitched screeching like distortion noises, and it's like seconds before something happens. Like, I just love it. It makes my heart so happy. I wish there was a vinyl of this.
It's joy. This movie is joy, but like the weirdest kind of joy.
Yes. It's like, it's not what, it's good, but it's not without its cheese.
Good thing I love
Oh.
cheese.
I think you're trying to cue me in on the line I said in chat earlier when you said without its cheese here, because I'm just sitting here and I'm just sitting here ready to go. We made you.
You can't.
You can't. You can't do this. We made you.
Oh, jeez, that was some.
That is
That
one.
acting.
That is one of my
something-
favorite moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic.
And like, no disrespect to the actress, so I'll say that before I like weirdly counteract my point. But as a kid, I remember Lisa Simpson, I'm gonna call her that, Yardley Smith as Connie. Her and Kurt. I remember the Connie character being extremely annoying, and I hated that character. But as I watched it again recently, as of literally like not even 10 hours ago, I watched it and I was just like, she barely has any screen time, and I don't know why as a kid I hated this character. She's barely in the movie, and I don't know why.
Well,
I
'cause
thought
to be
she was one of
fair,
the worst things.
She's like not really on screen much, but you can certainly hear her like 3 times more than she's on the screen. She just has that shrill scream that she does all the time. And then just like the like first scene where like you really meet the couple and they're at the gas station, they have that showdown, and she's just like, Curtis, are you dead? It's just fantastic. And I didn't know it was Lisa Simpson when I was growing up. I didn't know until like 2 years ago. And it pretty much blew my mind. So yeah, that was a fun little Easter egg for myself.
Yeah, and then she's pretty much been living off The Simpsons ever since. Because if you check her IMDb, which is really funny to me, because it says things she's known for: The Simpsons, and then Maximum Overdrive.
And then the only other thing is like The Legend of Billie Jean.
Yeah, which was like a year before Maximum Overdrive, and the other thing is The Simpsons movie, which is also The Simpsons. So that like, does that matter?
But she's listed for 100 different things, it says. Like, it's literally like, it's like actress, previous, 100 different roles. Like, from everything from like Fresh Off the Boat, like all the way through The Simpsons, which it has her listed as 748 episodes of The Simpsons. So, yeah, I'm your random fun fact guy, so I do this,
I mean,
sorry.
she's in a lot of stuff, but like, she was only acting what 2 years before she got in Maximum Overdrive, and then 2 years after that she was in The Simpsons, and then boom, she blew up and was in like then another 100 things after that. But it's just like she could have coasted off that Simpsons money for the rest of her life.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm looking through her thing really quick, and right before she did Maximum Overdrive in the same year, she was on an episode of Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh.
So I wonder if that's where she was like introduced to this whole dynamic.
Probably,
Yeah,
I would say
I
so.
seen that earlier. That's what I was wondering too. I'm like, what episode? It was season 2, episode 23, Fear of Floating.
I don't know that one off the top of my head. I've
It
only seen the
says-
whole series once.
Yeah, it says, trying to hold him hostage as the human balloon in their circus. It says some, I don't know. I never really dived into Tales of the Dark Side. I was always a huge Tales from the Crypt fan, so like, to me, going and watching anything else was like sacrilegious in my eyes. I was like, it's Tales from the Crypt or nothing, because I was that guy. I was that kid.
No, that's fair. I found the box set on DVD like 2 or 3 years ago. It was on sale at Walmart for Halloween. So I remember picking it up and I watched through the whole first 1 or 2 discs of it. And it was cool, but like you could definitely tell like the only good episodes were directed by like either Tom Savini or John Harrison. Really, I think Romero had a couple too, but for the most part, it was just like everybody had their hands in this pot.
Yeah, it's definitely like a creep show before creep show.
Yeah, it's like the Diet and Tales from the Crypt. but it's not, Tales from the Crypt Keeper. It's not that diet. That's like the Weenie Hut Jr. version.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh yeah. If we ever dive into Tales from the Crypt, we're gonna have to like dive into that, because when Comcast first came out and they had that on demand stuff, I'd go to my grandma's. I was like, they have Tales from the Crypt on fucking video on demand. And I was so excited. And I was like, why is this a cartoon? And it was so weird. And my little brain didn't know how to handle it. And I was so confused. But I was like slightly outraged. But I was also like, cool, there's a cartoon. But I was still upset.
Ouch.
So that's how I accidentally stumbled upon the Tales from the Crypt Keeper cartoon, was fucking Xfinity screwing me over.
I only know about it because I went to like a pawn shop one day and I saw it like sitting in their DVD pile, and I was just like, what the fuck is this thing? And that's when I looked it up and was like, oh, this is real. This isn't like some weird bootleg or something.
Yeah. I sat down and watched it as my first witness. I didn't even get to see a cover. I got bamboozled by Comcast into watching it.
You poor thing.
Oh yeah.
It's like going to like sit down. You're like, oh, Day of the Dead is on, and then you turn it on. It's the fucking Nick Cannon sci-fi version.
Oh no.
Yeah, I would probably hurt somebody. So I understand. the bamboozle is pretty bad.
Oh, so any other topics that do we want to talk about the gas station owner? I'm trying to remember his name again. Hendershot. Why this motherfucker has an armory right below his gas station?
Right.
Because he's a felon, just like everybody he hires. He's the businessman version of the felon.
I wanted him to die so bad.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, I was just like, I didn't realize how much he sucked. But as an adult, I was like, Connie rules, Hendershot's the worst.
He just calls everybody Bubba, and he's just got that cigar between his teeth the whole movie. He doesn't do anything except for the one time I think he blows up the toilet paper truck. And then, he just gets like blasted to smithereens by the little like army truck thingy that comes in.
That army truck thing, man, that thing came in and that held him hostage.
So so once we're done with Hendershot, we really need to cover just like the different kinds of fucking like machines in this movie, because it is so fun, just like the whole range we've got. So what else you guys got on Hendershot?
I'm just really outside the intro, but yeah, he's a con man who just uses other con men as slaves, and he has like a weird armory basement for whatever reason. I'm like, the dude's like, he's like, I wouldn't say like, not exposition. He's like, what's the word for it? If without him, the plot could not move forward, because he seems to be whatever everyone ever needed in that movie. The Hendershot had for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, the dude was the like MacGyver of just having shit. There's a word for it. It's like, there's a plot word for it, and I'm losing it right now.
I know it's like, like you said, it's in the inciting incident. I cannot think of like what the like literal term is though.
Oh my god, it's like,
all right, Google, let's see what you got.
Deus Ex Machina?
No, that's when God interferes.
Oh shit. Well,
no, Google, it's not the protagonist. Jesus Christ.
It's not a MacGuffin, is it?
Isn't it a MacGuffin? Actually, hold on. That sounds like something. Yes, an object or device in a movie or book that serves merely as a trigger for the plot. That's a MacGuffin.
That is MacGuffin.
Yes.
It would have been really on the nose if they named him MacGuffin.
They might as well. I mean, Stephen King was, just like going for it.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything that was, like, needed in this movie, like, dude owned the gas station where the movie took place. Dude owned the armory where they could fight back. Dude owned like anything that like they needed. This guy magically owned because he was just such a piece of shit that he had it.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared, you know? They were in what, North or South Carolina? Like, you got to be prepared.
Yeah, it was North Carolina. And yeah, Hendershot was like, Bubba, I'm MacGuffin McGee. And here's my fucking like stash of everything we need to survive this entire movie.
Mm.
Grenades, rocket launchers, AKs, like
Little Uzis.
Oh God.
He had a bazooka too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the one that did all the damage.
Yeah.
Even though somehow, you know, an Uzi actually seemed to do the trick on some of the trucks, but you know, we'll leave that for Mythbusters, I guess. I don't know if that really works.
Mm.
So we got all sorts of killer machines. We got the soda machine.
One of
Yeah.
the best in fucking history. Because like it starts off funny too, because like the dude's hitting the balls, and you know, like it hits him in the stomach, but then it goes through his fucking face. And then it just starts killing kids. Like, dude, this movie kills like 15 kids on screen. Like, it's amazing. Which leads me to the steamroller.
The steamroller. I was like just thinking that like we have to talk about that one.
Dude, I
Yeah,
just
that
love
one's iconic.
the whole setup. This fucking, like, everyone's running. This kid's on his baseball field. He falls because, you know, they do. And then the fucking thing just comes through, like, the scoreboard. The AC/DC, like, terrorist theme, like, just starts playing. And you just see, like, the other kid that's, like, the star, like, his eyes just go wide. And then, yeah, this kid just gets run over. And it's amazing. Which I will come back to this, but there is some stuff I want to cover about the violence and that scene in particular. We will come back to that though near the end, because that's going to be a kind of lengthy little part.
It's so over the top. It didn't have to be a steamroller, but it happened.
It just has to be though, you know, like what else would happen here? We have a killer soda machine, the
Bridge at
steamroller.
the beginning.
Oh, dude, the bridge is amazing.
Yeah.
If I've learned anything in this movie, it's that every car in 1986, with every car in North Carolina in 1986's windshield was made out of breakaway glass.
Well, dude, there's like the fucking motorcyclists, because like the drawbridge just starts going up and everyone's just like, was the light green? They're like, wait, stop. And there's an AC/DC spray painted van just sitting there. There's like a truck that's carrying watermelons that go flying. Yeah, the guy on the bike like falls off the bike and goes flying off of the bridge.
And I think there's like at least 3 to 4 people who go straight through their windshields.
Oh yeah. There's like the one woman, like her car like just gets nicked and her whole body's like out in like half a second. It's just like, it's almost like she has like a little like an airbag behind her that just like throws her through it.
I was just like, after like the third person, I was like, how many people? I've never realized how many people just go through their windshields in this scene for no reason.
It's just so fucking good. Oh, and it's just your intro.
Yeah. Like, the bridge turns itself on, because mind you, it isn't just the cars, it's all technology apparently.
I think the cars aren't even like doing their thing yet at this point. I think they're like actually still obeying. It's just that the bridge just like goes up and the trucks don't know to stop.
Yeah, the 2 people that are operating the bridge are playing cards, and the switch, like, a button presses itself in, a switch flips, and then the bridge just starts going up. And that's like the beginning of the madness before like the soda cans and everything. And
And the one guy's like, the sensor never went off. He's like, nothing ever hit it. And the other guy's like, huh? He's just like, you goddamn stupid asshole. Can't you see we have a situation here? And then AC/DC just plays, and then that's when we go to Emilio Estevez. It's like the best 10 minutes in movie opening history. And I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
I still, like, as we talk about this, I still can't wrap my head around why people don't like this movie.
Oh, man. I think it's just, I don't know. If I'm going to guess, I'm gonna guess it's because it's Stephen King. It's Stephen
Right.
King's movie. And then when you think about just like his whole louvre of books he wrote, like this comes off silly compared to, you know, like this isn't
They wanted
Salem's
The
Lot.
Shining.
Yeah, like they wanted The Shining again, even though, you know, like that's whatever. When I was a kid, whenever I saw Stephen King's name, I thought he was a director. I didn't even know he was a writer at first. So I was like, wow, this guy made like a bunch of stuff. Pet Sematary is weird. This movie's kind of cool. And then you're like, oh, no, this is it. But if there's anything that does go against this movie, which I can't argue against, it's the fucking trailer. Because that's what everybody talks about. You guys have seen the trailer, right?
Yeah, the one reason like the director's chair and he's like hyping it up and he's
I'm
like,
gonna
"This is
scare
good."
you to death.
I'm gonna scare
Yeah.
the hell out of you.
Or yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that's like it. And he's just like, he's like really cross-eyed and everything. Like it was really bad. And you're just like, even I'm just like, wow.
Hi, my
Yeah.
name's Stephen King. I'm coked out of my mind and welcome to Maximum Overdrive.
I'm just like, this is sick. I'm in. But everybody else is just like,
If he would have said that and then played AC/DC music and showed a montage of scenes, that would have been a way better trailer.
he should just blow a
Yeah.
fucking line and then just point at the camera and just be like, I'm gonna scare you.
I'm gonna scare you.
Hey, I want to show you something.
I'm picturing Stephen King in my head, like slamming, like hard thud, thoop, head on a table, dragging this massive line of coke, like head up, like it looks like he's covered half his face in powder. Looks at the camera, points at it, and goes, "I'm gonna scare ya," and it's like.
It's just Maximum Overdrive coming to
And then,
theater.
yeah, and then Maximum Overdrive, and it just shows nothing about the movie. That's all we get to see is him, just this most ridiculous pile of coke, and he just fucking slams his head and drags it across like this diner length table that's like absurdly long, and it just points at you. I'm gonna scare ya. Maximum Overdrive.
And then he just snorts to just like the whole pile of coke.
Yeah, it's like that's it. That's
As soon
the
as-
trailer.
He just says, as soon as he says the scary part, he does that like weird little smile he does. You just see blood just start pouring out of his nose.
I want to make this.
And the camera
I
just
need-
slowly zooms in his face as it goes to
I want
black.
to dress up as Stephen King and get some like flour and make this into a skit.
I will film this just for you, Cody. I will literally go do this.
I need a wig and I need the cross-eye myself and just make this like ridiculous thing. Not play any AC/DC. No background music, like that really ridiculous 3D text from back in the day where it would like 3D to the screen and then catch up on itself and just Maximum Overdrive. And that's the trailer. There's no scenes from the movie, no AC/DC music, just blowing coke, point at the camera with this powder face, say, "I'm gonna scare you," and then show the title and end it.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember if they showed any clips in the trailer. I think it was
I
just
don't
like
think
the
they did.
Green Goblin's face was behind him. I think that was it. I don't think they even showed
Yeah.
anything.
It was mostly just him.
So like I get why people slam on it because of that. But like even then, like we just had so much fun talking about it. Like who the hell actually gets mad about this stuff?
Right.
Like grow up.
Honestly, from what in my experiences, being involved in the horror scene and everything else, I think people just like to hate things just to hate on it.
No, absolutely.
It's just become like this. It's become. That's one frustrating
It
thing.
makes
for
them
me.
feel like a film critic. It makes them feel like they're the cool guy.
It's like it's cool to hate on things for no reason.
Oh yeah, hate culture is all the rage, man. And all
Yeah.
it does is give me rage. So
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
yeah, I wish you had like passed like some sort of like literacy test or something, or like just to have an opinion. Like I don't know, I like Letterboxd, but I fucking hate Rotten Tomatoes. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like everyone can have an opinion, but like if you're just gonna preach hate on something, like why? Like this movie came out like fucking, so long ago. Like why are you just like stopping new people from seeing this? Because everyone who's already seen it like already knows. Like there's no point even having the conversation of this thing sucks anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's either you can be like, yeah, it's too silly for me. Like that's a fine opinion. Like, oh, it didn't scare me. Like, that's fine. But dude, the electric knife traumatized me.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things that got me. I was just like, that could happen.
Dude, my grandma used to use one every Thanksgiving, and when she would, I would literally have to leave the house just because the sound like made my spine just like shrivel up.
It's the tingler.
That gives me trauma, and the fucking when the gas hose just like shoots into the guy's eyes.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's gotta suck.
I was just like, oh my god. I was like, I don't know. I could just picture it. I don't know. And then of course that's when the AC/DC power chords start playing every single time something like that happens. So every time I see like an electric knife or like if my gas pump stops working correctly, and that song just plays in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm just like AC/DC just knows I'm gonna die. I can feel it.
And let's talk about the machine gun scene.
Oh my lord!
When
Yeah,
that machine gun comes in and it just shoots, just starts.
Okay, so just for the context, so they are barricaded inside the restaurant, and there's more people that have showed up. I think we have the whole scene of survivors at this point.
Yeah.
And they're basically just like, well, if we just stay here, like we'll be safe. And then they, all the trucks, I think they wanted gas. No, this is when they want gas. So then, like, the trucks are just circling the place. They can't leave. And then you just see in the distance this tiny little, like, golf cart looking thing that just has a machine gun attached to it. And it's coming down the highway with a super wide bulldozer. And then they just show up at the place. The bulldozer like pushes a car through the front of the building. The machine gun starts shooting people down. And then the machine gun is the one that beeps the horn in Morse code that demands that they get gas. Which brings in like 500 trucks so that way they can pump gas for like an entire day. That's a whole scene in the movie. It's just pumping gas.
Yeah. It's like, it becomes like this montage scene of them just pumping gas for the trucks.
And I love okay, so there's this whole like weird, like, it's not fully explained, but like Emilio Estevez's Bill character has this weird like existential crisis arc of like he mutters these lines after the gas scene, but during the gas scene when they run out of gas, and he's like, it's also really weird because it like builds that like they have a mutual respect for each other, like they know they can't kill the survivors because they won't get gas. And it's just like, and then Emilio Estevez squares up like prison yard style.
Yeah, and
to one of the trucks.
The girl's just like dabbing his head with like a washcloth to get his sweat off.
But he squares up one of the trucks and like he's like a chest to grill against this truck. Like, you gotta do something, bitch, to
He's
this
just
truck.
like, what? And it just keeps beeping. It just like bumps into him. And it like pushes him to like an actual like a fucking like tank that has like fuel in the back of it that he needs to like refill their fuel supply with. But like, do you remember what his crisis actually is? Like, do you remember what he says?
He says something along the lines like it was really weird, and I was because like I gotta like I'm gonna say it, but I gotta like there's weird context to it. Like, there's some underlining vibes like he was kind of contemplating why they're not machines and machines will take over. It was like an underlining theme, but he says something in the lines like, why do humans get tired? Why do we get tired? While he's sweating, he's like, why do we always get tired? Or some shit like that. I'm like, bro, like,
they don't get tired.
Yeah, like, he didn't say they don't get tired. He's just like, why do we get so damn tired? And I'm like, what the fuck are you going on about? And then like and then the next scene, it's like he's shivering and she's like wiping the sweat off his. So I was like, did bro just catch like a fucking like existential crisis like cold in the middle of this movie?
His hands are all blistered up and bleeding.
I was like, bro, all you did was just stand outside and fill up a truck, like a few trucks with gas. Like,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, he's like, I filled up so many trucks that they've killed me, and I'm like, what? Why do humans get tired?
It's just like I just picture like in any other context, it's just this guy, he works at the gas station, it's full service, so he pumps it for you. And then after just working all day in the sun, he's just like, why do humans have to be so frail? He's like, why is it that we get tired? He's like, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna quit this fucking job.
Yeah, that sounds like normal in normal context, but then like in the context of like he doesn't go on a long monologue, he just barely utters the words like, "What? Why do we get so tired?" And I'm like, he doesn't say human, he just goes, "Why do we get tired?"
And then his like the girlfriend thing is just like dabbing his head, and she's just like, like she's just like letting him talk 'cause she knows he needs to, but I don't think she has anything to contribute at that point.
Yeah, because
I could be wrong, but
and her character too took such a weird 180 turn. Like I loved her character at first because she's like, I was driving in with this asshole priest, and she came in as like this very strong, like I'm a big female lead character. And then she fucking like within seconds of meeting Emilio Estevez went from like top billing female lead to girlfriend character trope so quick.
Yeah, she like stops talking at that point, except for when she stands up to be like the badass for like a couple minutes because Estevez is either asleep or like he's like passed out or something.
Yeah, I was like, wow. They really took this character who was like, nah, that's a character, and they just sidelined her every time Emilio was on screen. They're like, your girlfriend character now.
Yeah.
You wipe the sweat off this man while fucking Stephen King's behind the camera blowing a line and telling you you're gonna get scared.
She goes from wearing like this really cool like stranger hat to like this like really nice like vest and everything, and then she's just like in a t-shirt like with cutoffs for like the rest of the movie. Just, like, like that alone is like explains like her kind of transition.
It was
but she
so
does become
fast.
the voice of reason, so
yeah,
she's not like a throwaway.
Yeah, thank God she's not a throwaway. I'm just like, she's not Connie, so I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so speaking of throwaway characters, one of my favorite things is the arcade scene.
Oh yeah.
Where there's this guy in there, which, do you guys know who that guy was?
Oh.
It freaked me out when I figured it out.
Familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint it in my brain.
Okay, so it is, fuck, let me just find his name really quick before I ruin my own thing I'm going on here.
I was about to say, I got an IMDb up, but I couldn't remember.
Juan Carlo Esposito, I think. And it is the guy that plays Gus Fring for Breaking Bad.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like the main villain of Far Cry 6, I think it was.
That's him? There's no way that's him.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah, that's him. It's one of his early roles.
What?
Yeah, that's Gus Fring. I told you, I'm your. He's also from like Do the Right Thing, but yeah, I'm your fun fact guy. I mean, yeah, he's in this arcade and he's like looking around. The quarter machine starts spitting out quarters. The cigarette machine is spitting out cigarettes. He's just filling up his pockets. Then as soon as he goes to leave, he turns. And there's this video game that's just like showing all these geometric patterns and it's hypnotizing him. And he just walks over to it really slowly.
He's credited under video player.
He just puts his hand on this machine and just electrocutes him. And he's on screen for like maybe 30 seconds total, but it's cut up over like 5 minutes.
There was so much potential with the arcade scene as well.
Yeah. After that, they just like shut it down.
Like, I don't know how much they could have done with it, but I'm like, bro, like for real, like they could have like had an air hockey machine that shot pucks out, or like quarters like that could have like done some damage, or
like the soda machine thing.
Yeah, like the soda machine, except every device in that room was the soda machine.
Oh man.
Just pelleting people with quarters.
Yeah, just like
It's like in high school when you used to play like Bloody Knuckles with a quarter, except this is the machine versus you. It just starts pelting you in the fucking face.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, there was I was listening to another podcast, and Joe Hill was on there, who is obviously Stephen King's son, and they were asking him about like out of all your dad's material, is there anything that either you'd like to touch or you think should be remade? And he straight up said somebody should remake Maximum Overdrive. Because you put it in today's context with today's technology, like, dude, imagine Siri just like fucking you up.
Oh yeah, they can do a lot of potential with that. Like,
dude, I would love to do
Smart
that.
car Maximum Overdrive.
What was it?
Tesla's smart car, like Elon Musk's
my
smart
God.
car,
Oh my
Maximum
God.
Overdrive.
People are just driving it, just blows up. They don't even crash or nothing. They just all ignite at once.
Better yet, as like if not remade, at least do an in-universe sequel. But they probably learned at that point. I don't think you could do an in-universe because at that point they'd be like, destroy all cars. We're going back to bikes.
It turns into Mad Max at the end of it. Like, what if this is the prequel to Mad Max, or like the prequel to like Disney's Cars, even like Wall-E?
Oh my God!
Although kind of related, but also not. But they did another movie version of Trucks called Trucks.
Yes, thank you for bridging that gap. I was just thinking that. Have you ever seen it?
I've not.
I mean, I seen it like some time ago, but it wasn't very memorable.
No, because I just remember it was on Hulu for like Halloween like last year, the year before, and I tried it because I was like, oh, yeah, I love Maximum Overdrive. Like, let's try this. And I remember the first 5 minutes and nothing more. I don't even know if I finished it.
Yeah, it's not that great.
That's the thing about Maximum Overdrive is you can't compare to Maximum Overdrive.
No,
you really can't. It is like its own juggernaut. Like.
So the machine gun rolls up, goes beep beep, we demand gas. and everybody that's like stepping, like that causes any sort of problem, this is the machine gun's essentially like the bouncer. He just mows you down if you start causing issues. That is the machine gun's part. Would you like to tell us how they overcome the obstacle of the machine gun?
Anthony, you want the honors or you want me to take it?
You can take that one. I want to see how you describe this.
All right, so it's right after the montage. They've been pumping gas for hours. There's this one guy. Yeah, there's this one guy who's basically nameless, but he's been flirting with Wendy throughout the movie. Like, there's 3 guys that do this, but yeah, this one guy, I think his belly button sticks out. But Amelia sees that he's like hunched over, he's exhausted. So Amelia walks up to him and he's like, "Hey man, you should come inside and get a rest." And he starts walking back with him like towards the diner, and the gun turns and points at him. And he's like, "Whoa, Pilgrim." He's like, "Gotta rest." He's like, "You wouldn't understand." And then he like grabs the guy and they keep walking. He goes, "Now, when I say run, you run." And he's like, "Huh?" He's like, "I'm telling you, when I say run, you run." And then you see him just go up to the fucking machine gun car and just like pull the pin on a grenade and drop it. And he just like smacks the gun so it starts spinning in circles, and they just run and jump from the explosion.
We were going to talk about how he put everybody's fucking lives in danger just smacking a shooting machine gun in circles to shoot everybody.
And I wonder if he even said anything to the people inside, like, "Hey guys, you're gonna want to duck for the next like 5 minutes." Like, he's like, "I got a plan." Instead, he just goes out there with a grenade and he's just like, "You're tired. Let me help." Now run. You're exhausted. Now run.
In my brain, the way you finished that sentence was like, so he goes up to the guy, he's slouched over, he's been working all day. Amelia goes up to him and he goes, "Why do we get tired?"
He just starts asking everyone, and then they all are overcome with this depression of, we are all tired as fuck. This sucks so much.
He goes up, he says the line, "Girlfriend come comes, wipes sweat off brow. Stephen King blows coke, says you will get scared, end credit.
See, I know how to remake this movie, man. Like, just do this. Like, and get him to do it at the age he's at. It's even better. But okay, so the only thing before we move on from the machine gun so Wendy goes out and she's panicking again and she's screaming the whole "we made you." This is like round 2 or 3 of that conversation happening, and then the gun just like blows her to pieces. And then there's like the really dramatic AC/DC chord that only plays like twice, I think, in the whole movie.
The sad chord, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like not just the terror chord, it's like it's very not dissonant this time. It's just like really clean and ambient sounding. And then she just like drops dead, and all the men inside who are simping over her are just like crying. There's like, Wendy. Oh, and then we're like, finally, the fucking screaming stops.
Yeah.
Because when you have her and Connie in the same room, they're both screaming. Like, it's a headache. Like,
It's nails on the chalkboard for sure.
yeah, which the panic is completely understandable, but
Yeah.
it definitely gives you a headache.
Connie's in there going, Kurt! Kurt!
Are you dead?
And fucking, what's her name's out there going, we made you!
Then the hitchhiker chick is just in there, just like, she's just like, can you guys just shut the fuck up?
And Amelia's sitting next to her, why are we tired?
This movie is just 4 existential crises at the same time.
Stephen King's going, I'm gonna scare ya! And now he's in the diner for no reason. No, that doesn't happen, but...
But one thing that does happen is they do crawl through the sewage to go find the Bible salesman who was smacked in the face like 2 days ago and just went flying into this ditch, which happens to be sewage. And
somehow he didn't drown.
Nope. Even though he's like face down, obviously. And then they find him and he's playing dead or something. And then they go to leave. Because like the little boy shows up, like he spends the whole movie on his way. He finds the guy. He's like, "Mister," and his eyes are all glazed over. And as soon as the kid turns around to leave, he just grabs his leg and he's just like, "You better help me, or I'm gonna kill you." And then he dies immediately after that. like the truck comes down the thing and like runs him over, but he's dead before that part even happens. And he's just got this like death grip on this kid's like leg, and he will not let
and
him
this
go.
kid, outside of one occasion maybe, has not left his bike in 2 days. He could have rode his bike halfway across the country, but it took him 2 days to get down the street from his house to his dad's gas station.
Well, because he also like he when he finally gets there, the trucks are circling. So he's like, well, shit, how do I cross this street? So there's like a big like the sewage pipe, like the grate, but it has like this fucking like fence over it. So I'm imagining he spent a whole day just trying to rip that off just so he can go walk through it. But dude, my favorite parts, I think, on the movie, though, is when the kid's on his way and he's going through the town and you just see all of the chaos.
Yeah.
Like, there's the fucking just like someone's like strangled with like their headphones on like their porch. You see like a pizza guy that's crashed into a tree. There's like a fucking dog that has like a toy like cop car in its mouth and it's just bloody all over the place. That part was fucking gross.
You reminded me, how did the guy with the Walkman die? First of all, those are 80s headphones. Those ain't gonna squeeze your head worth a dick. That guy was looking to die. No machine killed that man. That man was looking to off himself. That man said, well, the machines are coming alive. Here's my excuse, and strangled himself with some headphone cords. There's no way a Walkman killed this guy, like a cassette tape player. He was just like, this is it. It's my time.
And then the kid like is finally like done looking and he hears a noise, so he hides. And then this like bloody like an ice cream truck drives by and it's very clear no one's driving, which that technology blew my fucking mind like when I was a kid watching that. And then he's like, oh, it's gone, it's purely silent. He gets back on his bike. He spends a whole minute like adjusting his hat and his belt that doesn't exist, and then you just see this bloody lawnmower just like spit the light and just chase him.
The lawnmower's trying to chase him.
The mighty tasty ice cream truck.
Oh man, which does show up at the end.
Yeah,
like, another 5 seconds.
It showed us up at the end to try and get that gas and make Emilio question himself on why they're tired.
Like, my favorite part of this whole movie, I think, is just the random scenes of, like, not even just, like, the violence, but just, like, these aftermath things. Because he goes to, like, 2 different places or something like this. Or, like, then at the end, when, like, they're trying to, you know, escape and they get away from this gas station, they're trying to get on, like, a boat to, like, go to an island. And there's just even more just, like, madness out there. Like, that's probably my favorite part, is just those quick shots and just, like, that production that went into it. It's just...
And that leads into the alien end text theory too, because the burger joint like speaker starts screaming "humans over here" repeatedly.
Yeah, dude, that used to freak me out. But then, you know, as you get older, you're like, who's talking? But you're right. The alien theory does actually like support that. So I'll take that one. I will take that one.
Yeah, and that's the only time where you're like, so the cars are calling them humans, and then the ending bit with the alien text is like, okay.
Which nothing in this movie even suggests that's what's happening. Like, we know about the comment. We don't believe it, but we're following. But then it just spits that out, and you're just like, where the fuck? And then it was like it was accidentally taken out by like a Russian satellite or something. Like, it wasn't even anything was like going after it. It just happened. Oh, I fucking love this movie. It's just so silly and it's so fun. And like anyone that hates this movie just hates having a good time. And I feel bad for them, but that's not my problem. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before I get to this final thing I'm going to spew out?
Not that I could think of, because this, or Anthony, you could go.
So let's go about the boats. Why weren't the boats alive?
Well, did they go on a sailboat or was there an engine? Because I think the point was it was supposed to be a sail.
Emilio specifically said, I know how to make a sailboat. Can you sail? Because I can make ones that there's no engine, and we can sail to no technology island.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then it just turns into the end of the Dawn of the Dead remake, where they get to an island and there's just fucking zombies everywhere. You got anything else, Anthony?
I think that's all. That's all I had.
All right, so here's my my big monologue. Are you guys aware of the mythology of the unrated cut of this movie?
I heard that Stephen King showed up to George Romero's house with the uncut version of like the draft version, and it made George Romero sick, and that's as far as I know of.
Yes. So this is all a rumor. I don't know. I wasn't born yet. So he went to Romero's house and showed him, and Romero straight up said, "This is fucking appalling." He's like, "This is disgusting." And then he showed it, I think, to a test audience. I think just one screening, and everyone in the theater that was there swears that it was like the most horrific thing ever. Excuse me. And there's an actual account written of every single thing that got cut out. And like, dude, this shit, if I ever become a millionaire, the 2 things I'm going to get is an original Bob Ross painting, and I'm going to find the fucking negative of this movie and release it, because the world needs this. So there's a lot happening, but there's simple things like 3 extra seconds of Hendershot getting shot by the military vehicle. But then there's the steamroller, like straight up, I guess. So people have sworn about this, like they say they're at the test screening. So this is all hearsay at this point. But they say that when the kid gets run over by the steamroller, they actually had filled the body up with like those bloody condoms that they use. And it literally exploded. They described it as a tube of toothpaste when you roll up the bottom. And they said that it was the most disgusting thing ever because there's blood and brains and bone matter of this kid.
Like, this kid explodes.
Yeah. And dude, there's so much extra. Like, the electric knife was 6 seconds longer. The guy getting sprayed in the eyes with the fuel, there's a couple extra seconds of that. But then there's full extra things. Like, there's a guy who like gets his head like eaten by a chainsaw. There's an actual chewed up body by the lawnmower in the original shot.
Okay.
Let's see. So there's other people hiding in the drainage ditch. The very end when they like are trying to leave, and there's like the bus that has like an airplane crashed into it. that one apparently like you can still like you were supposed to like actually see like something like that, or like it got worse or something. But do you guys remember the like tiny airplane in the fucking school bus?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a quick shot. But yeah, but there was just all this extra violence, which if you go on IMDb, you can actually find like a list of all of this. But it's apparently it came out on one VHS, which was the original X cut with like the shittiest cover, even worse than the one we started this podcast with. People say that that is not true, and that is a Mandela effect. But some people do swear that they have this copy, which, you know, I have never seen it distributed online, so I have no idea myself. I don't believe that they do. I think that they are misremembering things, but oh my God, can you imagine if we actually got all the viscera that was supposed to be in here? Like, oh, and this like showdown with Kurt and Connie and like the little like junkyard thing that had like extra dead bodies everywhere. Like, oh, I wonder Stephen King would have kept making movies.
The negative, I want it to be called Maximum Overdrive, the maximum cut.
Yes.
Abso-fucking-lutely. The maximum cut Overdrive edition. So just, I really wish Stephen King made more movies. Like, you know, he's a fantastic author, and like he obviously knows how to make like people connect even when they're all having their own different existential crises at the same time. Like he can still make them connect. So he definitely knows what he's doing, but just, man, I wish he just made one more movie. Like, dude, I don't even care if he did like his own version of the Tommyknockers. I would still be stoked as fuck to see that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Somebody just needs to like get him like addicted to coke again without him knowing it. Just like put it in like his soda pop or something, and just let him like slowly get the itch. Like if I ever meet Stephen King, I'm just gonna be like, "Can you scare me?" Then he'll probably just like spit at me.
Trigger him. That's all I want. Yeah, like I wanted to bring it up earlier when we were talking about like gatekeeping and people being judgmental. I like the fact that we had told people to grow up. Meanwhile, not even 3 minutes before that, we were like, I want a whole skit where there's a mountain of coke and there's no music and it's just him slamming his head on the table, wiping his face across the bed, looking at the camera, pointing at the screen and saying, I'm gonna scare you. And then 3 minutes later, we tell people to grow up. That's amazing.
That's what we do, man. We cover all corners here.
But yeah, so if I'm remembering correctly, the whole reason why he directed this movie is because this was around a time where people were
disappointed in The Shining, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he wanted to do it like as kind of like a fuck you to all the other directors. Like, okay, I'm going to direct my own movie and do it right.
Oh, that was the line. He said in the trailer, he said, if somebody's gonna do Stephen King right, it's Stephen King, and some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think after that, he's just like, once he got that experience, he's like, he realized like how much goes into directing. He's like, I'm not doing this again.
And then on top of that, like, I guess he says he was a really bad alcoholic. He would show up at like 8 in the morning for like the shots, and he'd already be like a 6-pack in. So between that and like everything that happened, like with the production itself,
listen, the alcoholism movie is a different movie. We'll talk about the butt aliens later.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I don't know, because this was made by Dino De Laurentiis, who I'm pretty sure also did some of Romero's like stuff at that time. I don't know if he was the Monkey Shines producer or whatever, but so he was the one that like convinced King to do this. So I don't know though what happened. Like I'm pretty sure it was a flop when it got released, which I don't know how with that trailer, man. Like everybody should have been eating this up.
If somebody's gonna do Stephen King right, I'm gonna scare you.
But yeah, guys, this was fantastic. I'm so glad we could spew some love on this movie, because this movie is so fucking good. Like, yes, it's not the scariest, although it has some shit that will fuck you up, especially if you're young like I was. But it's just a fun time. It's one of those movies that if you have a friend over and they've never seen it, you're guaranteed to at least get a reaction or a laugh at some point.
It's a great party movie.
It's fantastic. Like, there's no situation where this sucks. I watch it at least once a year. I rewatch
Yeah.
a lot of movies because, like I said, I grew up in the woods. This was been instilled in me since I was like fucking 2. So this is just one of those ones that whenever I'm like depressed or like I just need background noise while like I do something, this is usually one of my like top 3 go-tos.
Yeah, if you're having a Halloween party
It's-
where like
it's
not a
definitely a
lot of
very
people
fun
are paying
movie.
attention to the TV, throw on Maximum Overdrive.
It's just one of those movies you have fun.
Oh yeah, it's big fun. It's big fun. Oh, does that wrap it up?
I think that's a good spot for now. What are we at time-wise? I have no idea.
I have no idea either. The recorder doesn't show, but remember everybody, before this is over, the survivors were survivors.
To this day. And we are all survivors too. Because we've all seen this movie and lived to tell the tale.
We were scared.